I'm supposed to take you down to see the vaults. Let me just get the keys.
The Wizarding World of Harry Potter is one of the most immersive theme park lands ever. Because of the major success of Hogsmeade and Islands of Adventure, Universal created a second land for their other park. This would be themed around Diagon Alley, featuring one new attraction being Harry Potter and the Escape from Gringots. This ride is what I will be mostly focusing on for this video. This is a semi-coaster, semi-dark ride, relying mostly on screens. It has been criticized quite a bit for this, and also the fact that it doesn't actually have a whole lot of roller coaster segments. While this is true, I found myself to quite enjoy this ride a bit for what it is. Even though it does consist of almost all screens, they are pretty well done with the movement. All of this got me thinking how much lost potential this ride really had. While I think it's one of the best rides in the park, it's nowhere near perfect. Today I will be showing you how I think the ride could have possibly been one of the best roller coasters in the world. And I won't change anything about the queue because it's already really good. I'll be focusing just on the ride itself, and I'll try to keep it pretty realistic in terms of pricing and space to work with. And here is what I have for you guys. It doesn't look like much, but it does the job of showing you guys my plans of how this can be a better ride. So let's start off with number 1 on the little drawing. So for this is the area where you're going to, after boarding, you're going to take a little turn into this area where it will show Bellatrix casting a spell, and it's pretty much acts like a tilt coaster in a way, where you're just face down so a pretty steep drop into the coaster section, which we'll get to in a little bit. But for the most part, I'll keep this the same. I'll let them keep the screens, but I'd rather have, instead of it just all being a screen, have that be like an actual part of the wall with the bricks and stuff, but just have the characters in the little holes of the walls them be just screens, while the rest is actually a real prop. So it just will flesh out the scene a bit more and just overall just make it look a lot nicer. Next up we have here is just in the red. It's just going to be a longer coaster segment after that first drop. I feel like the ride could really benefit from having more coaster elements in it. And so pretty much it doesn't really have to be exactly like that, but just longer. It doesn't have to be too long, but so maybe a little figure 8 and just some turns and stuff like that. And now we have the second section. It's the 2, and this is where pretty much I'll keep the screens, but again just add some layered effects just to make it nicer, but I'll let them keep the screens. But I had this idea of after you see Ron and Harry, maybe have a couple of the knights that try to attack you could be screens, but then this mist sprays, and then maybe an animatronic of these knights kind of rises up, and you wouldn't see it because of the screen. It's kind of hidden before, so it kind of goes like that, and then kind of go through the same motion it does on screen, which wouldn't be that hard to replicate in an animatronic. It doesn't have to be anything insanely groundbreaking or anything, but then would go through those motions, pushing you into the next part of the track. Okay, next up is the section 3, which actually I quite enjoy on the ride. This is just you're going through kind of caves. You see track pieces of track overhead, obviously just like fake, and there's like mist everywhere. And this is one of the better areas of the ride. It doesn't consist of screens, and I'll just keep this about the same. Honestly, it's pretty good, and yeah. And now we have the 4th section, and originally this is just entering back into like a little screen where you'll kind of encounter the knights again. They kind of stumble and fall, and then you'll go through this motion simulation of you falling, similar to what they have in like King Kong. But I would completely just get rid of that, and I'm thinking like just a small backwards section. It's just like of a coaster. Doesn't have to be anything crazy, but we know how the roller coaster cars can rotate. So I was just thinking, have it rotate backwards through just like a small helix. Could be a fun element where there's just like caverns and other like theming around you. And then I also noticed how there is that one part where I think it's Bill or Fred. They come up to you, and then there's the dragon. I just at the end of the helix and kind of round out back into a screen, and it just shows like a condensed version of the end bit with the dragon stuff, because it could be somewhat important to the storyline of the coaster, I guess. Next up is section 5. This is just another little almost like breather section where you're just gonna look around. There's like the vaults all around you, the doors, and then you'll see more pieces of track up ahead. And yeah, it's just all no screens or anything like that, but just pretty well theming it, so I'll just keep it the same. Now for section 6. This is the area, it's just one large screen. You're going around, and that goblin just says, hurry, hurry, go, and stuff like that. So what I would have done is, honestly, I wouldn't be too disappointed if you could just keep the same thing, but it would be nice to have an animatronic, just pretty minimal movement. Wouldn't need to be anything special. There's some good theming around the room, and he's just saying go, go, like how he is in the actual ride. But yeah, that's all I would do. Just have a nice animatronic and minimal screens if possible. And now we're on to 7, and this is just a screen with a snake coming out, and then you see Bellatrix and Voldemort. What I would have done, honestly, I don't feel there's any need for Voldemort or Bellatrix to be there, because you see him in the next scene. So what I would do is just have some maybe rock works like cracking on the walls and stuff, and this animatronic snake just emerges. You have some mist or whatever, just very atmospheric and immersive, and then it would just have the snake kind of striking at you, similar to what they have on like Indiana Jones, and then just leading you into that next scene. And now we have the 8th segment. So this is where it's kind of the finale scene. You'll see the dragon, Voldemort, Bellatrix, and you'll see the dragon kind of pop out. It's all a screen on the ride, and then some mist will come, and it's actually pretty well done. You'll have this little part of the screen kind of lift up, and you'll kind of have like a boost launch up into just the final kind of scene. So what I would change here, you can keep the screen for like Bellatrix and Voldemort, but what I would do is just have an animatronic, if possible, of the dragon. Just pretty impressive, and yeah, and just like flesh out the screen and stuff, so it's not just you're staring at a screen and stuff. Then right after that, you kind of go into this brief coaster section. What I would have done, as you can see on the purple area, I don't know if this is possible, if there's enough room, but just have another like longer coaster segment that would kind of like make it a bit of a more satisfying ending. Because honestly, I feel like that effect is pretty impressive, but then you kind of just round out into another screen and then end. But I'd rather have possibly expansion of the building, and just have another coaster segment. Nothing too special, just some twists, turns, maybe like an airtime hill or something like that. And now for number 9. Honestly, for all the work that we've added and stuff, animatronics, extra coaster, I think we can just keep 9 the same. It's a screen, and honestly, if you had all those animatronics and just better theming, then I think 9 would just be the fine how it is. This is where you're just the finale scene where he says something like, after all, it's the safest place on earth. So like, it's kind of just it's almost like that ending scene in Indiana Jones with the one-liner where the boulder is, and I think this is just fine for what it is. So yeah, nothing really to be changed here. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna conclude it. But I think you'd be surprised just how much better the ride would be by adding a few animatronics and better like fleshing out the screens, practical effects, and stuff like that. And I think if all these things were here, I'd say this would be one of the best roller coasters in the world. Best themed. It'd be up there with like Hagrid's and stuff, I think. So when it's just kind of all screens, it just kind of disappoints me, because this could have been one of the best themed roller coasters and just rides in general in the world. But we kind of got just kind of a mid-tier dark ride roller coaster. But that's gonna have to do it for today's video. And I hope you liked this, because if you like these videos, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, anything like that to support the channel, because these videos are, well, they seem just kind of silly, but they do take a lot of work. So doing that can help me a lot. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to upload more, and see you guys in the next one. And also, I will be uploading some Universal vlogs for you guys, so where I also kind of share my thoughts on Velocicoaster, but I will also have a separate review for that. So see you guys in the next one.